10 years ago, let's talk about the energy sector. The administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo sets up the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading, or NBET, PLC, as the manager and the administrator of the country's electricity pool. 10 years on today, how has the NBET fared as a wholly owned company of the Nigerian government within the ongoing electricity transition market? Welcome to the show, the Pioneer Managing Director and CEO of NBET, and currently the CEO at ZKJ Energy Limited, Wonodi. Good to have you again on the show tonight, sir.
Thank you, Basim. Good.
It's good to see you. Thank you very much. Now, let's piggyback a little bit. Tell me about how NBET started and why, and what were the mandates, objectives that you were set up to pursue and achieve 10 years ago?
Well, the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC was set up pursuant to the Electric Power Sector Reform Act of 2005. And before then, there was the National Electricity Power Policy that set up, look to unbundle the sector and make it very attractive to private sector participation. And it contemplated 3 or 4 stages of the electricity market: pre-transition, that is the time when PHCN or NEPA would have been unbundled, and then transition electricity market at a time when the distribution companies and the generation companies are significantly privatized, and then you have a bulk trader in between that, providing a market-making function within the market. And that bulk trader was established as the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC by the Good Luck administration, Jonathan administration, on August 23rd, 2011, yes.
But over a decade.
So primarily.
Yes. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So primarily, let me just finish on the second limb of that question. So primarily, the mandate of NBET then became to be a catalyst for investment in the power sector, primarily generation, and also acting as a stabilizer of the market. And, it had 2 roles. One, a credit-worthy off-taker for generation companies, and then a load aggregator in such that it makes it and provides assurance to each of the distribution companies that when it procures power, they'll have power to distribute to their customers. Because if it didn't play that role, then generation companies might cherry-pick and just serve the more affluent distribution companies. So with NBET in the market, every distribution company is assured of power to supply to its consumers.
Today we're standing at the threshold of 10 years. So what was your horizon a decade ago in terms of the power sector reform and the program? What was this going to be? What can be achieved within the shortest possible time in terms of bringing power to the people, reforming the sector?
Well, some of the things that we envisioned has already happened. We were hoping that with NBET in the market, the regulator and a few other institutions that will be able to confidently privatize the power sector, which we did. And on the back of a PPA put out there by NBET, investors could actually take up shares in BP-owned generation assets and make the payment. So to that extent, there was some success there. We also expected that we would have generation companies reach financial close and come into the market. We did that with Azura. Unfortunately, along the line, we are not able to complete that. But, the market is now privatized. There are a few other things that are outstanding, quite a lot of them, and exogenous factors continue to hamper progress in the sector.
One very important question, Rumundaka, is what the learning curve were for you as NBET Pioneer Chief Executive, and broadly speaking. What do you consider as the learning curve?
Well, let's say that first and foremost, it's important that you do some certain due diligence before embarking on some of the things. I don't want to go back to things that could have been done slightly differently, but we see that what works is when there is leadership. The leadership must have a direction and there must be a sense of purpose. So for us at NBET, most of us came to work believing that we were coming to make sure that electricity supply will be taken for granted by most Nigerians. So leadership is important, and at that time, special exception and must be made for, or mention must be made of, say, Professor Banerjee, the way he drove the presidential task force on power. Everybody who was involved in that reform knew exactly where we were going to, and what they needed to do to be part of that team. And if you look at the power sector today, there has been some issues about leadership and then at least corralling the government agencies to be on the same plank and do the same thing. So for us, I would say that leadership and support that we enjoyed from the board and then from the leadership from the ministry and the support of the presidency at the time, it was very key, and it makes for progress.
Today, how much more do you think we can achieve or could be achieved in the power sector? And do you think we're making the necessary progress and at the speed of light in which we should bring electricity or light to the people?
Like I said, the power sector is, I've said this in our conversations, you can't remove the power sector from the general economy, right? So the power sector can only advance as well as the country is. I mentioned the exogenous factors that are holding down. So, folks are working hard. I can tell you that. I know people who, in generation distribution, who are trying to make things work, even in regulation, but we're not moving as quickly as we can. And one of the things that, hampers is, we keep talking about issues of tariff, but it's not just a matter of whether people are getting the services, but affordability has become a bigger issue than it was some years back, because you find out that people might not just be able to pay the tariff. They're not capable. It's not a matter of willingness. The purchasing power of most families are dropping. So you have an issue of viability gap, and then at the same time, there are challenges all over the whole place.
All right, let's leave it there for tonight. Thank you for your time tonight. Wonodi, pioneer, managing director and CEO of Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading Company, or NBET, currently the founder and CEO at ZKJ Energy. Thank you so much, and we look forward to speaking with you in the future.